Listener warning. Everything about this podcast is offensive and often stupid. Live from the fashionable north side of Racine, Wisconsin. It's a bird, it's a plane. Ah, shit, it's a podcast. It's Guys, Gays, and Beer! Woo! That was so quick.
That was a good intro.
Oh, we're fapping?
Thanks.
Everybody fap.
Love how your head's cut off.
Yeah, I like my head better that way.
We were just talking about fapping now. We're talking about Tom's cut head.
Hey.
No.
What'd you say was cut?
Circumcised head.
And then it blurs up.
All right.
Pretty nice. I like that.
All right, so beer court first, I guess.
Yeah, it's time for Beer Court. Ba-dum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Beer Court.
All right. What do we have tonight, Larry?
That was the creepiest.
We have from Spruckers. So they're mostly known a lot for soda.
Yeah, the root beer,
The root beer, the
gourmet
different
sodas like
flavors.
Dreamsicle, like the Orange Dream, Raven Red. Yeah, they're a gourmet soda company, but they started as beer.
But they do beer. In fact, this is the 30th anniversary beer. It's a Pilsner, pretty much straight here. It says it's a Bohemian lager. And you can see this super cool guy.
This fucking hipster before craft beers were cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow, he's sporting a porn mustache.
Yeah, it's super 80s.
Mustache.
He's got the VW bug.
Yeah, it's Hitler approved VW Bug. So a little bit of Hitler history there.
All right,
Hitler's greatest hits.
let's give it a try.
Mostly in Poland.
Oh, it's a twist up.
It's been a couple. Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh well.
First thing I'll notice that it's not spraying on anyone, so at least we didn't over chill it.
Thanks, buddy.
Rare event.
Okay, is that me or is it got a tinny taste to it?
I think it does.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bland.
I taste like tin.
It's not too bad.
And a little bit like blood.
So delicious.
I'll be honest,
Yes.
as best I can tell, I prefer all their sodas to this beer.
I've never tried their beer, but I've
Sprecher is hit or
never
miss.
expected anything good alcoholic out of them because they did that hard root beer and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was nothing like their root beer.
Yeah, but that's, there's lots of just terrible
We've
hard root
we've
beers.
tried a couple Sprecher beers.
They did like
on
a
the
small
show
batch of
before.
cider ones, which I pretty much enjoyed. It was a little dry.
I gotta say,
but
this tastes like a tin can.
I never really liked their beers.
And it's not even in a tin can.
I know, that's what
it
really
tastes
concerns
tinny, but
me.
beyond that, it's just very
When did you
bland,
get this,
too.
Larry?
Well, it's
20
funny
minutes
thing.
ago?
Okay, so it's out of the stores full of stores.
No. It's 30-year anniversary of the beer. This is not the 30-year anniversary one.
Yeah.
No, this
Oh,
beer
yeah,
is 30
they've been
years
around
old,
for-
guys.
Oh, it's a birthday. Got it.
This beer is...
I
brew day.
This
gotta
particular
say, it's,
this particular brand, because they started in '85.
Yeah.
So that would be 2015.
So this beer is a year old. No,
That could be. Maybe. Man,
it's okay.
I gotta start going to
It's
a new
okay. I gotta
go to a new liquor
Uh,
store.
Yeah.
yeah, there's just a date code.
No, there's nothing I'd write home about on this one. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not a great beer.
it's finishable.
I gotta say, Specker is that way. though.
Finishable, yeah.
Meh.
Okay, that's pretty much unanimous, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Now let us combine thumbs into a giant circle.
Into Thumb Voltron.
okay. On the first charge of being meh, I find you guilty. On the second charge of tasting kinda like dirty asshole, I also find you guilty.
Bleached though, it's bleached.
Yeah, but it's a dirty bleached asshole.
Okay, well that just makes it show up more.
Your sentence
Yeah.
is to me drinking you while I go.
So there's going to be some added noise in this show.
Yeah, a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on.
Fighting through.
Okay.
Mediocre.
So now that we've got a mediocre beer going, what's the real show topic?
Well, let me tell you, the real show topic is
Bleach
my
assholes.
asshole. Yeah.
Oh, like this.
Very good. First, we're going to talk about our worst controllers. Bring your worst controller to work day.
Okay,
Maybe
I may have misunderstood this.
There's two. Don't worry. There's two topics. Nobody brought a bad controller. You
I
want
brought
to
a
talk
bad
about
controller.
I
Yes.
didn't. I missed that.
It's an interesting.
I don't remember that.
I missed that.
Neither do I.
on the title. I'm topic one.
Okay.
That involves
Usually
reading.
my bad controllers don't survive due to anger.
Well, just go get that Atari controller.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, I'm saying.
I didn't bring my back controller. I can definitely name a few bad
This one's an
controllers.
interesting controller that's also bad, so it hits both criteria.
Oh, nice.
Should I whip it out?
Whip it out.
whip it out.
I,
Whip it
I
out.
think I've seen that one before.
That is an unusual looking controller.
So this is a controller by Hori, which actually makes
By
usually
Horny?
very- Hori, H-O-R-I, which
I
actually
heard
usually
horny.
makes very quality controls. This was a
Whore.
more of a novelty than anything. It is the Dragon Quest Slime controller, which is the
There's
most
some in here,
odd-shaped
there's
controller I've ever seen. It's for the PlayStation 2, and if you look at the bottom, there's a controller pad. I'm gonna go ahead and show them the
I
camera
want
to
to talk
you.
about the.
But yeah, basically it's got a full controller at the bottom, so you would hold it in your hands like this. It was very uncomfortable, and probably playing more than 15 minutes on this is damn near impossible. I mean, it's got everything a PlayStation 2 controller should have, but I don't know. Anybody was like, "Oh yeah, let's take this adorable little slime and then make a controller out of it." I'm not sure.
Okay, but
exactly.
it was Dragon Quest, right?
Yeah.
So it's designed to work with Dragon Quest, which was
It works.
JRPG.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to work like
You don't have to
hard.
really do a whole lot, but still, like I don't really understand. Like I understand, like okay, taking something of the cute Dragon Quest mascot, great, you know. But I didn't understand where they went from. Oh, hey, let's make something cool out of a slime, and be like, oh, controller. That sounds great. Let's do that. So they actually came with this blue and a metallic slime one as well. I also learned the hard way. This was before I actually started really diligently collecting stuff. And I tried cleaning this off. You always spot test stuff because now it's like super sticky. I use rubbing alcohol and it like screwed up the finish. So now it like sticks. So it's actually like a slime controller.
So you made it more realistic. is all you did.
Yeah. So I wouldn't
Now
touch,
you added another
I don't even want to
dimension.
play with it even more because it's sticky, like a gross sticky. Like, oh, this has been on the floor. But no, it's just I ruined the finish with rubbing alcohol.
Did you say bed on the floor?
Yeah, that's bad.
Look, me on the floor ain't that gross.
It is sticky though. It is sticky.
Very sticky.
But other than that, a very
So
cool,
sticky.
unique, and interesting controller. It's a cool display piece, but not much more than that.
Well, that does sound awful.
Yeah.
It does.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I actually have one that I could name. I mean, you
Okay.
probably have one lying around. It is a terrible control, and we've talked about it before. The Atari 7800 controller that was sent out with the American or North American units is not very good. It is not a very good controller. The biggest problem is your hand gets really sore. You know, at this time, you know, Nintendo's already come out with its nice little square pad. With the units that were sold overseas, they sold them with the square pad.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they decided to not sell them in the U.S. with that. It was this kind of long control with kind of a normal sort of joystick
got one in
and a
the back.
2-button system.
Got two.
But because the buttons were on each side like this, your hands would start to cramp up after extended play, you know, and it was a lot of pressure going back and forth on your hand instead of the nice, easy.
By extended
you know.
play, you mean about 15, 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, that's about how long
Really
it
cramp,
took, you know.
yeah.
And a lot of games, at least
Yeah,
a
you
lot
know,
of
you
games
have
I
that tight
played,
grip, 15 minutes, and you're done.
took a lot of controls. Like, I mean, if you were playing like, what was it? Arch basketball, you know, or you're doing a basketball game and you're really running back and forth and around and stuff. That's a lot of intensity on that. Whereas, you know, a
lot of rubbing
thumb
palms.
pad would have been
Yep.
way
You're-
nicer.
You're twisting your palm, which is also the thing you're using to fire with. In
Yeah.
that case, because you got to grip it around the claw grip. It had two buttons that are separate, and you'd just be beating the hell out of your hand. Now, usually motions like this I'm okay with, but motions like this,
Dude, you gotta
Not so
give
good.
yourself.
Who doesn't?
On the upside,
doesn't twist?
he ended up with a hell of a
Excuse
grip
you?
after a lot of
No.
playing.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Twist.
So, nobody's getting away.
Like
With
the
no
Oh,
can.
Lube,
Wow.
no twist.
Yeah.
Not even with enough lube, you twist. Death Star.
So that would be one of my worst controllers is the Atari
Terrifying
7800
controller.
one.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick on Atari a little bit more, all right? We're going to go back to the 2600, okay? So this is the granddaddy of all home game controllers. So this kind of set the stage for controllers for probably the next 10 years. Was this basic design, single button, 8-way joystick. All in all, it seems like a really nice idea until you find out they used the crappiest, cheapest plastic they could possibly find inside, and these things broke at an unbelievable rate because there's a little plastic ring in here that actually pushes down the micro switches when you move it. And what are you going to do in a game? You're going to jam it in every possible direction as hard as you can.
Yeah, but they thought it'd be little kids and
And
they
they-
can't jam hard.
No. They knew this was what the
Little
micro
kids
was
can't
for.
hit you.
Yeah, little kids can't
and then
break things.
They didn't
No.
correct,
Right, Larry.
and they never corrected the problem. Fortunately, with so many aftermarket sticks
Hey, man.
that corrected it, particularly like the Wicco Bat, which was the if you
Oh, was it
wanted,
ball
Facto.
which was the
controller.
de facto controller if you had a 2600 or a
That one was
or-
nice. Nice metal.
Exactly, yeah, with a single fire button on the top of it. The wick
Yes.
and the dual buttons down here, so you could do if
Yeah.
you're a lefty or a righty. Also, this stick is designed for a right-handed. I'm sorry, for a left-hand. Yeah, for a right-handed person.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult to
Bastards.
use it. Whereas later sticks designed by gaming companies would put two buttons on, so you could use it right or lefty. And a lot of them put the fire button on the top, so that it made it much faster for firing, a little easier on your control. Again, Wicco made a really great stick. All the early generation video games and computers adopted the standard D9 and 8-way joystick
Yeah.
controller. So these were really interchangeable. You could use this one on most of the computers that were out at the time.
We used it on an Amiga.
Yeah, on Amiga, Commodore 64, Commodore VIC-20.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
don't do it. Don't do it.
It's not that bad. We gave it a
All right.
Bad.
Go ahead,
It's
Matt.
tinny.
Do it. Do it. It tastes like. Okay, don't say. You shouldn't have said that. We should have asked him.
No.
It's very bland.
He may love it.
Tastes like disappointment.
The baddest beer he's ever had.
So it
All right,
tastes
Matt,
like
what do
my
you think?
life.
It's something that just appeared in my mouth. I don't know.
Pop rocks in your mouth.
Did
Well.
you have to suck on it through a hose?
I think that's it.
Okay.
That face is
all
all
right.
you get.
That said everything. Thank you. That said everything. So yeah, but getting back to the joystick. So this was the most disappointing joystick design, only because of the high failure rate with these. So if you're a collector and you're buying, most of the time you find it they're broken.
You know, there's
Yeah,
one
just,
thing.
yeah, at this point, just buy one of the many,
the good news
the
is
many the aftermarket
right,
ones.
but if you're trying to make your system look original, the good news is there's a company that makes new inserts for this out of a high Delron. So it's a really strong plastic. You literally open it up, pull out the old insert, pop in the new one, and the stick is like lifetime at that point.
So if you would have known this topic was coming up, I know there's something in your collection. I'm thinking off the top of my head that you would have brought. What would have been the most disappointing controller?
Ooh, there's so many.
I'm thinking of one in specific. I'm gonna see if you can think of it.
All right.
Wait
a minute.
I can start narrowing it down so it doesn't
Narrow
take
it down
forever.
for me, so it doesn't take
It's from the
forever.
90s.
Oh, the Power Glove.
It's close. I was thinking of the Activator.
Okay. Oh,
Which
even
was
better.
the Power Glove, but worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
again,
bigger.
in the 90s, there was this big push for VR, and this was before VR had kind of come into its own. So there were products like the Victor Max, which is a really low res, not even 3D, a low res screen you stuck on
It's like
your
a
face.
144p.
Yeah, it was just horrible resolution, but they were trying. It had this little thing that kind of monitored your head movement that you clipped on your shoulder. There were the Power Glove, if everybody's familiar with that one, which actually was a really nice piece of technology, just hooked up to something that couldn't power the technology. It actually had resistive finger movement and good X, Y, and Z detection, but the system was hooked to just didn't have the capabilities of monitoring it well enough. And then there was the Activator. So the Activator, let me explain the Activator to you.
Oh, the
It's this-
Craftivator.
Yeah, it's this octagon ring with IR sensors all around you.
Avoid anything that uses infrared.
Yeah,
That's just a rule of thumb.
that's a good place to start right there. And the idea was that you could, it was for fighting games, and it would monitor when you punched. The Activator would detect that you were punching within a certain distance above and monitor it as a punch. Okay, first of all, it was infrared. avoid anything that's infrared because everything in the room is going to interfere with it.
Yeah.
Every light you turn on. If you're playing in a dark room, it works really well in a dark room. But every fluorescent light, every incandescent light, everything you have in your house is every time somebody hits a remote in the other room, the damn thing would screw up.
They did come up with the most fucking hilarious commercials. I highly recommend you YouTube any of them. The interactive commercials. Are
The activator.
My bad. Yeah, activator commercials are just really great. They're
Genesis, right?
Yeah, that was it was originally for the Genesis, but like we've talked about, it was another 9-pin controller and will work with any 9-pin system. But also a piece of crap. Good call. I should have thought about that. I missed that topic though.
Don't you have the Rumble pack that kind of goes
That's
with
the
that?
interactor that he talked about. Yes, I've got the Rumble pack.
backpack.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Did you put that in
Not
your
really a
phone?
controller
Stop
though. That's
playing with
more
your
of a sensory additive.
It
Not
just
really
feels
a
so good.
controller.
Nothing like
So
the pussy.
soft.
He does have a soft pussy.
So scared. Oh no, you're pussy.
It's
All right.
getting away.
All right, who wants to go
I
next?
talked about it.
I know you did. Who wants to go next?
Otherwise, we can move on to
Yeah, we can move on to good
I'll
controllers.
do mine.
All right. Oh,
I mean, I got one that's just kind of we're doing disappointing controllers.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes, yes.
The PlayStation 3 controller while they were being sued by DualShock.
what did that?
Oh,
It didn't have rumble.
Yeah, for
They had no force
Period of
feedback
time.
on their first controllers for the PS3 because they tried to steal the technology, and DualShock said, "Fuck you, cease and desist." And Sony lost that one really bad, but then they were eventually able to reestablish a relationship with them, probably by giving them a lot of money.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, kissed him in
whenever
the
there's money,
I think he hit the
those-
kissing.
yeah.
Kissing is
Let me
wait.
just
Let me
hand
shovel this
you-
cash to you,
right?
and that's my kiss to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first I believe they were PS3 controllers. It might have been PS2. Actually, it probably was PS2. But it was one of the PlayStation generations where they didn't have DualShock on their analog controllers because they were at the time getting the hell suit out of them by DualShock. And DualShock was like, "No, you can't steal that. That's proprietary. You licensed that. We didn't say
Does
you could steal
DualShock
it."
make anything else?
Probably not.
Because
They probably just have a really sweet patent on a specific technology, and no one's figured out a way to work around the patent. So that's why PlayStation controllers are still DualShock
so they
branded
feature
controllers.
one patent and a bunch of really good lawyers.
That's all you need.
That's what
That
they
really
feature.
is all you need to keep going as a company. You have a really good patent that everyone needs and a really feisty litigation team.
Yeah, I was going to change that. You don't necessarily need a good lawyer, just a very, as you put,
Feisty.
feisty or douchey.
He can be bad, but as long as he knows the right laws, it doesn't matter.
That's right. As soon as you get those letters, man.
Nothing like a D-bag lawyer.
You said
There goes our lawyer viewers.
Our
Oh,
lawyers
lawyer
in
or
jail,
lawyer?
so
I
they're
have
not
any of
watching.
those.
No, they're not going anywhere. They're waiting to sue us.
Ah, yes.
Well, the G2B lawyer's in jail right now. We'd have to bail him out if we...
We have lawyers.
On
We're already
drunk and disorderly
bankrupt.
charges.
All right. So,
All right, so
Rob, what do you got?
I will go with Sega's lovely control stick.
We'll call it Thrustmaster, right?
No, it's actually called the control stick.
Okay.
It
I
looks
saw
like
you-
it could be a Thrustmaster.
I'd
Look
call
at
it
that
a
head.
Thrustmaster.
That looks as entertaining as the Atari one.
Yeah, it is about as entertaining. It has this lovely 80s shift knob on the top of it.
Which I hate.
Yeah, but it's an 8-way.
They did, in their own defense, they at least put the cable in a proper place, unlike the first generation Sega Master System controllers, which had them right the hell where you put your hand.
Show it to the camera.
That
Show
is
that one, because that one's a good one,
Such
actually.
a But yeah, this controller, basically for listeners, it's a block with a stick on it, 2 buttons,
And
and,
a nice
another
square ball.
block that looks a lot like an 80s shifter knob on the top of it.
On top of the stick.
Not a particularly aerodynamic one, more like what you would see on, say, remember the Dodge Colt?
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, that would be that
Yeah.
turbo shift knob that they had.
But going back even further, you remember the Barracuda with the pistol grip on it?
Yeah, those are
No,
awesome,
it was the
though.
shittiest ass shifter ever. They literally put what looked like a gun pistol. It was meant to look like a gun pistol, had like the trigger guard and everything on it, as the shifter in the Barracuda.
Fuck
This is
yeah.
It was
wrong.
like a 68 or 67 bit.
I've never heard
left-handed
anything so
controller.
American in my life.
It was so American, but it was the
Fine,
crappiest
fine.
shifter you
Noises
ever
when you left
used
it
in your
controller.
life.
Almost every controller,
eagle
the
noises.
actual
The
control
trigger was the
button is
release.
on
It
the
was
left
the
hand,
worst fucking shifter
and the buttons
ever.
on the other.
Yeah,
I
if you
want
go-
that shifter in my car now.
No, look it up.
You go to like an arcade or something
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
the
It's
idea-
the weirdest thing you've
I don't
ever
know.
seen.
This
know
is
what they-
usually
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so yeah,
backwards.
by Atari standards, it's reversed as well.
No, yeah, exactly. So it was, it was
Bizarre controller.
Yeah, and again, the problem being is because there's no good way to hold it because it's offset. So
Yeah.
when you're doing this, you find your hand going like that as you're trying to
You know
control
what?
it.
You know why I say it's backwards? Because I think it'd probably be okay if it was reversed, because most of us are stronger with our right hands, and we would be holding it with the button side and right hand.
So really, the
Oh,
proper
guys,
way.
it seems right to me.
No, the proper
Are
way
you
to hold it.
left-handed?
If you play a game,
I'm left-handed.
Matt's full of shit.
Yeah, you see,
your own
I
joystick.
mean, I
you
am
just go
also
like
full of
this,
shit.
and it works perfectly if it's sitting on your lap. Yeah, see.
See, you're strong with your right
like
hand.
that, yeah.
So you use strong hand.
This is how a couple of 13-year-olds learn something about themselves.
Me in particular.
Matt, you were there.
Electronics are in the mind.
I wasn't. I wasn't. I don't think I was 13
13
when that was around.
That's messed up.
Yeah, you were. It was around, and then you were 13 at some point.
Yeah, I didn't have a Sega though.
Doesn't mean you didn't have the controller.
All right, anybody else got a crappy controller? Let's go on to the next topic.
Hey,
Next
Think
topic!
of one.
Next topic.
Think of one.
Next topic.
Next topic.
Because the next topic's a good topic.
Yeah, I like the next topic.
I do too.
All right, let's switch
Jesus
topics
Christ.
to your favorite controller. Bring your
Yeah.
favorite controller to work.
There you go.
Doesn't have to be the best controller.
No,
Just
your favorite.
It
Your
doesn't have to be
favorite.
the best one ever.
All right.
Let's start this. Come on.
I'll start it out.
All right.
Just
All right.
clarifying,
So-
it's a different conversation.
All right. So
Uh-oh.
I like
Uh-oh. It's
keyboard
coming
mouse
out,
games.
guys.
It's coming out. It's coming out. So, ages and ages ago, there was Steel Series has always made good products. They really do. Their headsets, their controllers, everything they do, they really do a good job.
They're still
on.
around.
Yeah, no, Steel Series is still around, and they still make some really good gear.
Wait, are you kidding? SteelSeries makes like the best freaking mouse ever.
Yeah, they really make good controllers. Well, this was something they actually had around for quite a few years. It's called a Z-board. Now,
Did they stop making that?
yeah, the Z-board's been discontinued for quite a while.
God,
there
forever.
were two of them. There was the Z-board and the Z-board 2. The Z-board 2 didn't have the advantage of this. So,
your channel.
what the cool part about the Z-board is, it looks like it's a fairly standard keyboard. Lots of function keys you can program. The disadvantage being it's not backlit. It would have been nice if this was backlit. I've always thought about backlighting it. But here's why they call it a Z-board. So the keyboard itself part is removable. And Z-board.
How long did it take you to figure that
That
out?
was like
He
immediate.
found out like
So,
yesterday.
and then they
Yeah.
made a whole series. So, like, if you played Warcraft, they had a Warcraft keyboard for it. If you just liked straight shooter games, it had a really nice shooter keypad. In fact, it's my favorite one, as you can tell. It's a little on the beat-up side. It had a really nice one. And again, the keyboard basically, and you can do this on the fly, just inserts in,
Epic.
yeah, locks down, and you've got a whole new keyboard. So it's got like a standard typing keyboard, but you can also switch out the different types of keyboards. And they made all sorts of keyboards for it.
I really like that one.
This is a great gaming keyboard, and what they've done is they've taken your standard WS right combination and put them on larger keys, directional. Also, all the keys you normally use, like E and so on, all around there, so they're easy to get to. All your numbers for changing weapons. They still has the standard keyboard on it, but what they've done is shrunk that down and then rearranged this whole keyboard here. For doing straight shoot 'em games, mouse keyboard games, I've always loved this board. That's why I've
All right, if you're playing like you're doing more like RPG kind of.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
That one would be a nice layout.
It's yeah, exactly, and that's what this is really good for. So I mean, it's good for all those types of games. I really do like this one from that standpoint. It's a shame they stopped making it. You can still get these keyboards online. They're not that expensive. They actually made quite a few, and they actually sold fairly well when they first came out. You can still get all the different attachments for it as far as different Z boards go. I've got like 4 of them so far. gotta say, I use this one all the time. You know, the odd.
I understand that.
I see that keyboard all the freaking time.
What's that?
I see that all the time.
Yeah, because this is the one I use. When I'm gaming, this is the one I use.
Killing floor.
Right, exactly, because it's perfect for those kind of games.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried.
Yeah, so I really still like this. I wish I could find something a little more updated version of this. Again, they made a second version called the Z-Board 2. It did not have the interchangeable keyboard, so it was a fixed keyboard with this keypad off to the side. So you had a keyboard, standard keyboard, with the cursor keys off to the side like that. This whole button keypad arrangement there.
That's dumb.
It really
It's
kind of...
not a Z board anymore.
It wasn't really
It's
a Z-board
it's
anymore.
a long board.
Exactly. It was just a standard controller board.
It's a
Now, that being said, again,
it's a
if you get
sidecar.
a chance, look like Rob said, Steel Series makes some of the best mice out there, and their keyboards, their lit keyboards are quite
amazing.
good too.
I run one.
They make various LED ones. They really do a good job for gaming products. I've got their headset. What was the name of the headset?
It's just called Steel Series.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, one of the better
The
headsets.
J125.
One of the better headsets I've used for gaming too. All right, that's mine.
They've taken into putting some names on them now, but it's always, you just call it the Steel Series.
Yeah, Steel Series.
Alright, I'm gonna go before I forget what I'm doing here.
Yeah, what are we doing
look up
here?
the name. I always forget the names. I'm gonna go with my favorite Atari 2600 and Commodore 64 / Amiga controller, which
Nice.
is
This is an amazing piece.
yeah, this thing's this is the Sigma multifunction 2100.
And fairly rare.
Yeah, it's a fairly rare one. In Europe, you see it quite a bit. But unlike most Atari controllers, it has a very near arcade quality buttons.
Yeah. Oh, they are arcade quality, not near. They are.
The stick itself actually has a, here we go, metal shaft.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Shaft of steel.
Utilizes leaf switches like arcade machines. These are paddles.
What?
Yeah, so you can use paddle 1 and paddle 2 with it. You can use this
I
as your
thought they
paddle
were
2.
for controlling your vertical hold.
Isn't that cool though? So you can switch it from joystick to paddle with this button. It's got a built-in auto fire with a little light to tell you that it's auto firing on it.
So is that what you use for Kaboom?
And this is metal. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
Metal has suction cups on the bottom so you can put it on your television tray. You better go find one of those real quick before they disappear. But yeah, I mean, it is a badass controller. It's well built.
Yeah,
it's
the
lasted
construction.
forever. It's a rare thing in the Atari world.
Yeah.
And made in
outside of
China?
Window, it's made in
no. This is
probably Taiwan or something, but
I don't think so.
might be Japan. I don't
Well, I saw the label on the bottom, the classic.
They have metal.
know. No, it says
quality
quality
assurance,
control.
Oh, okay.
So it
Okay,
actually
they do,
has
Matt,
some
just
quality
plastic.
control. But yeah, this is a badass. I really love this.
Yeah,
controller.
that's a nice.
That was
find.
hard to get too.
Yeah.
Very rarely come up on eBay, but
It's a very rare controller to start with, and people aren't parting with them if they have.
I think my
It's
runner-up.
cool. It's a cool controller. I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
like
one
that
of those
one.
before.
My runner-up would probably be the Pelican. I'll show that one too. That's back here. I might as well show it since.
Yeah, go.
I might as well go Larry on this. Go Larry on it.
Pick one.
No, I'm gonna come back because I have an honorable mention still.
Yeah.
Wonder what
That'd
it
be,
could be.
I wonder.
Wonder what this honorable
No.
mention
It's a fleshlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pelican. Pelican is a shitty company.
Shitty.
However, every once in a while, even
A
twice a
blind
day.
squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah, and twice a day, a broken clock has
Is
the time
correct.
right.
I
Yeah.
gotta say,
And every once in a
dang.
while, this uses true arcade parts in it.
Pass it up.
Yeah. Whoop.
Got to show
Yeah.
and tell.
This-
We're not going to show it.
Okay, so this looks very similar to the X Arcade ones.
Yeah, it's a.
So it's a Dreamcast?
It will work with the Dreamcast, I think. No, it's not that one.
PS1.
This one will work
There's
with
a
the
slot
PS1
in
or
it.
PS2. It will work with the
Xbox.
Xbox, and
That's
it will work
Xbox.
with the GameCube.
So this is a good multi.
So it's got. If you look at the head, if you show them the head actually has 3 different attachments
Right.
on it. Beware. Try not to use it too much with your PS2. It tends to blow
So it's got the
up their
Xbox
rumble
memory
port.
cartridge on the side as well.
Their rumble function. So you can use it. Just don't unplug it while it's running.
Wow. That again, that really reminds me a lot of the X Arcade.
Yeah, and
sticks.
it's made it's a heavy, heavy little device.
Looks
It's
like
not,
it's essentially
not
a
cheap
wood.
at all.
Yeah, it's a particle board.
Particle board, yeah. It's very arcadey.
Yeah,
Nice.
very arcadey.
Like it a lot. In fact, this one.
It does say real arcade on it.
Yeah, which they'd lie about. They have no problem with that. But the buttons were actually when I got it all mushed down and damaged. But like a true arcade machine, I was able to actually take apart the buttons and clean them and put them back together again, which you generally can't do on home products. So yeah, it's really easy to repair. Great little device. Like I said, it's probably the only thing you should ever buy from Pelican, though.
Tough to get or not tough to get? You can pretty much
not real
see
bad.
it out there.
This one I got for $5, but you can get them less than
You got that for
less than
what?
$50. Yeah, that's $5, darling.
Goodwill.
Picked it up.
Oh, that's a nice find. That's a nice
But,
find.
Just say your wife's in an insane rummage sale
She is
shop.
so good at it.
You know?
She is good at it.
Did she pick me up?
But yeah,
with
less than $50 on online for a really nice one.
Which is really good if you think of how many classic systems work with. And you couldn't build it that cheap, actually. By the time you built it, you'd be at that cheap
Yeah,
anyway.
buttons and all that.
Yeah.
However, it
So
does not
that's
fit very easily.
a good
In his
deal.
own ass.
Okay, who wants to go next? Matt, you're up.
I'm up. So, you've heard me talk about it. You've heard me rave about it. My favorite controller, especially right now,
Is in his pants.
is in my pants.
His own personal
Well, I gotta
choice.
feel like
always-
that's
It always
sentiment.
will be. It always has been. It's my favorite joystick. No, the Steam controller. For those who haven't actually seen one, I don't know if I've actually shown it in front of the camera
You have
before.
not. So bring it up to the camera.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to the camera. Rather than a traditional twin stick layout, the Steam controller has one joystick and two touchpads. They're extremely sensitive touchpads. This one is usually configured as a D-pad in games. You can configure it however the hell you want, though, because, well, it's
Other camera,
Steam.
too.
Yeah, I'm going to show it to both
Alright.
of them. So for the streamers, this is what it looks like. You may be able to see the cross pattern on the left touchpad. And now for those that are watching on the YouTubes. And our audio listeners are just straight up out of luck because they can see it.
You're screwed,
so
yeah.
It's got all your standard Xbox,
And the blind.
PS4, etc.
Yeah.
buttons on it. And it also has
It's true.
a couple
And they've got our
of
blind
grips on
listeners.
the
Nice
back
job
that
there.
you can use to map other commands, because some of these buttons are a little hard to reach when you're gripping the controller ergonomically. So you can either remap buttons here to these grips, or you can use them for other functions. And Steam actually recently added functionality on the software side to add what they call activators, which is basically just allows you to add long presses and double taps and triple taps and all sorts of
need that
other
double tap.
different button functions to the controller, so that you can better emulate actual real controller function. So on a game that, say, has a function where when you press a button on the controller it does something, but when you hold that same button it does something different, on a keyboard that would usually be mapped as two separate keys. You can add that functionality now to have a single press be that one key and a long press to be that double key. So you can totally emulate a controller function if you don't like me, for instance, when you're trying to play a game, say Overwatch, and you have your overlay on the screen and you're moving around and it's showing you the Xbox button commands, and then you touch the trackpad to move the mouse, and it changes your overlay instantly to be the keyboard shortcuts, which is not helpful to anyone. So mapping the controller to the keyboard shortcuts allows you to have a seamless experience in that. The other nice thing about the Steam controller is that it has a built-in gyroscope. So when you're playing a shooter, you can configure the touchpad to do your larger sweeping movements, and then configure the gyroscope for your more fine sensitive movements. So it's really good. It's damn close to mouse accuracy for shooters on PC. I've played a couple of shooters with the Steam controller, and once you get it tuned properly, if you have the patience for that, and I damn nearly didn't, it really just it actually does bring your PC game to the couch without having to have like a keyboard on your lap. and a mouse somewhere, or having to buy a $150 keyboard that's made with a 25-foot cable to reach to your television that has a built-in mouse stand on it. I've seen a product like that. It looks nice, but I'd rather pay $50 for this and configure it a little bit than pay $150 for a very heavy keyboard that I have to store somewhere when I'm not using it. Otherwise, my cats will eat it. So this right now, and probably will be for a while, is my favorite controller to use on a PC. The only problem is if you want to use it with games that aren't Steam games, you have to add those games to Steam. And some launchers, Origin, don't like it when you try to launch their game through Steam. So you have to find workarounds, but people are pretty good about that, and Steam is actually pretty good about updating Steam to make it compatible with games.
Origin, because they suck.
Yeah, fuck EA.
I won't even cover that with a cough. Fuck EA.
This is, yeah, for real.
Is that it's Bluetooth, right?
No, it comes with
Okay.
a 2.4 gigahertz little Wi-Fi dongle.
Oh, really?
Okay.
And you can actually pair multiple controllers to one dongle, I think up to 4. So you can have more
That
than
is
one
frickin'
Steam controller,
amazing.
pair it to the one dongle you have in your computer.
So if your friends come over.
Right, so if your friends come over, and your controller can actually be linked to your Steam profile. So you're playing a game on your friend's computer with your controller.
And it recognizes you?
Steam detects that it's linked to your account and loads your controller profile.
Okay, that is really nice.
That's
Okay,
sexy.
so first of all, let's start with the fact it's not Bluetooth.
Sexy.
Thumbs up on that, okay? The
Yeah,
problem
for
with
not
Bluetooth,
being slow as shit.
slow as shit, single controller only, you have to disconnect everything else when you do it. That's a good start right there. 4 controllers on a single dongle. Also fucking awesome. Wow.
And plus you can hook it up with a standard USB Type A to...
Oh, so you can cable it too?
Yeah, you can cable it. It's got a standard micro USB connector on the front of it.
Wow. That.
No, I mean,
okay,
So
I
if
gotta
you need
ask,
to, if the
how much?
batteries are dead, it's $50.
That's
it.
very
I would never thought about getting it, but with him describing like the amount of work he put into it, it started putting me off with the fact that it, no matter what, it can follow you. I'm like,
And for a lot of games, you get profiles.
Yeah, that's.
So you can go into a Steam game, look at the community, and people have already made profiles.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying.
And honestly,
that sounds pretty damn nice,
It
actually.
actually does sound really good.
75% of the configurations that I have
try
for
it.
games, I literally just go onto Steam and either they have a really good recommended one for it already, or someone in the community made a really good one, and I just tweak it for my sensitivity settings on like the mouse and shit. Maybe
How's
remap
Killing
a
Floor
button
play
here
with
or
it?
there. Killing Floor plays great with it. I was playing Killing Floor with it during the during NetFest.
Nice.
It was awesome. I mean,
Okay, I see. I'm
one
Larry can stare at the floor all day.
there is right. There is a learning curve for figuring out how you want to use the gyroscope, how whether or not you want to use the gyroscope. For a while, I didn't use it, and it was just getting by on the touchpad, which is still really sensitive and really good. Especially because one of the functions that they have on by default is a trackpad function. So when you swipe your thumb across the touchpad, it acts like a trackball. And acts like it has friction, and you can set the amount of friction. So when your thumb is off the trackpad, it'll still keep swinging a certain amount. So it's really good for swinging motions as well. As it is for, it's not as good for sensitive motion as the gyroscope is. Personally, for me, a lot of people will have the gyroscope on all the time. I don't like that because if I'm trying to like figure out my greater position on the screen and I'm also moving the controller at the time, it fucks me up. But you can have the gyroscope be activated when you press a button, or in my case, for my configurations, when my thumb is touching the touchpad. Whenever I'm on the touchpad, the gyroscope is active. So I can have my thumb on the touchpad, the same place where I would be anyway to move the mouse, but not moving my thumb, and move the controller to do my aiming. It's really, really slick once you figure out. It does take some time to get used to it. There's a learning curve for all that stuff, for figuring out how you want to configure it. But to get you started, there are a lot of good community configurations, and it's really not too difficult to figure out how to configure the controller on your own. Really, it only took me about 10 minutes to figure out how to better configure a controller for myself. And when I want to do like a custom or like build my own layout, I literally just pull up what the layout of an Xbox 360 controller is for the game, and then just switch back and forth between the game settings page and the Steam page and set all the buttons that way.
And Steam, you should send the check to Matt at Guys Games.
I mean, most people,
I think he just sold a few controllers.
most people don't believe me because they're like, no, the mouse is way more accurate. And sure, it is more accurate, especially if you've got a 5,000 DPI mouse and you're used to that and you're really good with that. I was never really all that good with the mouse. I was never really all that good with the regular joystick. I'm better with the Steam controller than I am with the keyboard and mouse.
See, that's why. Well, I'm gonna jump into mine if you don't mind, since it ties them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Mine, like Tom, was originally I was gonna bring in because I still have keyboard and mouse. I'm a PC gamer, so that's what I like. That's what I'm comfortable with. Because I'm not the best at joysticks. I'm really not. And I still have my original Logitech G15 keyboard that I bought like 12 years ago.
Fuck yeah, that's
love that thing.
Well, see, for me, this is interesting because it really brings that couch element. I prefer to kick back.
That's where I'm
play a
getting
game.
to.
I don't like to be hunched over.
I'm sorry, when I'm playing a game, I'm good with that, but also I get too intense where I'm not going to be laid back and be like, well, hell no.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I'm
happen.
far better on the mouse and keyboard than I am on a controller.
Yeah.
Now that being said, this controller sounds good.
Yeah,
but
I like
continue.
that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's worth a shot. And if you wait for a Steam sale, during the summer sale, they were selling them in the Steam store for $30.
Plus, people are already selling theirs used. You can easily pick them up.
Right, exactly. Because some people just
don't like it.
Are
they don't like it,
fools. Some people are
which
fools.
is fine.
That's
I mean,
true.
I'm all for people using their preferred Steam, but for
I
me,
have two, so I just want to go over that. G15, I didn't feel like bringing it because I'm lazy.
and it's bulky.
So, but you're still using your G15.
That's 12 years old. I bought that. Not used 12 years. It's the same one I've had all these years. And basically, it's a regular keyboard. Has a little flip-up display that tells you like whatever you want. There's different things you can
You
download
can set
for.
profiles on it.
It's got
I'm still
and it's got
using my
15
IBM
programmable
XT
macros,
Which is why I say the original G15, because the later versions reduced the number. I was like,
by a lot.
screw that. It was like 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow.
what's the point?
Yeah, they cut out an entire column of keys. It was either a column or a row. I think it was a column to start
and
with.
when I used to play like World of Warcraft or whatever,
I was the
I
first one
loved
to
it.
get one.
Yeah, I think you're
For my
right.
birthday, my parents got it from Best Buy, and then we all ended up getting them.
We did. Yeah, because they
were
fucking
really good.
rocked.
They were really good.
It was $100 well
Which
spent
company?
because I still
Logitech.
Logitech, yeah, and I
Well,
still.
that stuff's like Teflon.
I know. I still fucking
Oh.
have that keyboard too. Like
I really
some of
put
the
mine
letters
away.
have rubbed off, but it still works. And the back works when I bang my fist on
Yeah,
the keyboard.
Yeah, my
35-year-old
flashlight
like
every
an
now and
arrow.
then.
trackball.
That was like an era of Logitech projects. I used the G15. I went onto the G19. We got the G9 for
Yeah.
the mouse, which was one of the first ones
Had
that was
weights.
that had one of the first ones
Yep.
that had the customizable weights and stuff like that. Again, it was
You
like
could change the weights of the G.
there are a lot of mice that do it now. But Logitech
Oh, yeah,
was
but
way
no,
ahead of
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Logitech was way ahead of their game in peripheral
Yeah.
in peripherals about 10 years ago.
I
They were
still
leading
love
the
that
market.
keyboard.
No, that no.
And
I
my thing is,
understand. Believe me.
Yeah, in
I have
the
a
later versions, they had like updated like color screens. I didn't care. I just want to be able to like, okay, I can monitor like my CPU, RAM, whatever it is, the music I'm playing.
Yeah.
I love that feature when I'm playing games, so I know what pops up. Like, nope, next song.
Yeah,
because they
I-
have the media controls right there.
Yeah, and you're right. You can display the track you were playing,
Yep.
everything. So
I've got
really
a
was.
Volume
I've got a plug-in
control,
with CPU temp that gives me even greater detail on
nice.
my current hardware stats because the default one is fine. It gives you
CPU, RAM, and just
a
bars.
basic CPU meter and a basic RAM meter, and if you have multiple cores, if you update your software, it'll actually show the individual bars on this teeny little bar. But CPU temp will give you each core's current usage in percentage. It'll give you the current temperature of each core. It'll give you your RAM usage. It'll give you your ambient temperature.
This
inside the
episode
case.
brought to you by Logitech.
And
no,
Steam.
no, I gotta say though, guys,
Hey, but they make great stuff, okay?
They really
They really do.
in all honesty,
There's
that,
a reason
the
they're
G15 was a good
leaders.
keyboard. If you can get them used still.
I have the same speakers too that I bought at the same time from Logitech.
They're really not
I'd
bad
say
keyboards.
in this day and age, I mean, yeah, it's okay. I mean, the G19 is worse built, so I would avoid that.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked nicer. It had a full RGB color.
Right, had the
scheme
color
and everything.
screen on it.
Yeah, color screen and color keys and everything, which was kind of cool. But the G15 was pretty bulletproof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was.
And they really, Logitech just kind of paved the way for new innovators to come in and make better products. They basically challenged the market and said, hey, look at what we're doing, like, try and do better. And then some people did, and that's good.
And I do have one more, so that's obviously my main, but one that I got past year.
This year, yeah.
At Midwest Gaming Classic, a friend of ours, he brought a friend with him who makes these, and it is a modified Nintendo controller.
Oh, they are amazing.
And it is. Basically what happened is this controller...
Mike dodging with Tyler.
Not very well.
No.
So, it's just a simple little controller.
Hey, you might want to swing that mic over there, bud.
Just speak up.
Or just talk really loud.
They probably heard me.
Yeah. So yeah, it's more ergonomic than the original Nintendo controller, and he replaces the D-pad here, which apparently was this weird little slide piece of shit.
Yeah, it gets very loose.
Yeah, with this, which I immediately tested out when I brought it home, and it works beautifully. I mean, the controls on it are just phenomenal. Like, I feel like in games where I always had issues where I was like, no, I wanted you to go that way or this way, it's flawless.
Nice forearms.
So
Yeah.
sorry, I can't pay attention to multiple things.
Yeah, to both cameras. I know.
Yeah, so, but it's great, and I paid like $10 for it, which was awesome. And I got 2 for $20.
Yeah, no, those were great. That was a good pickup at that show.
Now you can bring the mic back.
Okay, so for mine, this
no, you don't. Put the mic back to where it
this baby got me through college. It is the very, very sweet
Yeah!
off-brand
Oh,
Gamester.
nice.
Hell yeah.
So
Thing.
I and this is to my knowledge the first one that actually had the trigger controls. Now, in this day and age, you got like the Xbox Elite controllers, things like that. You see a lot of them with paddles or the scuffs, things like. But this was back in like 2004. Like this, for its time, again, the build quality is pretty mediocre. It's not bad by any sense, but again, it's a lot of plastic and things like that. But these things surprisingly hold up. Again, it's got the trigger buttons. So if again you had playing Halo or any other shooter, they did make these for the original Xbox as well as the PS2. So, but this is my baby. It had a macro screen, so you could actually customize macros on the fly. And again, once you got used to it, you had such good reaction time compared to your buds. Again, you can just, melee, hit a grenade real quick, and still spin around and shoot people. So again, once you got used to it, the learning curve was a little iffy because again, all the buttons feel the same, and it's like, okay, what one's A? And it's like, but once you get used to it, it's just it's second nature, and you get so much better reaction time. And again, I can remember so many LAN party nights and like sitting in college dorms or playing at NetFest or things like that. I would always make sure to bring this with me because, again, compared to a regular controller, there's just no competition. Like the fact that you could do 2 or 3 actions in the time it would take them to move their stick and then hit B. Again, it made a big difference, and again, for its time.
So, I mean, obviously, it has a novelty look and feel.
Yeah, it's got.
But you're sort of saying it actually had a game benefit.
It worked a lot. Again, so, if you think about a normal Xbox controller, all right, say you wanted to look around with your right stick and then move to melee with, like, B or something, right? Instead, you could move with the stick and B at the same time, rather than having to move your stick and then hit the button with your right thumb. Unless you wanted to friggin' hold it like this, like a crazy person, but,
and there are crazy people.
like again, so yeah, I'll just use this as a combination. It's like, okay, it's 2 moves. It's 2 moves rather than being able to, hit it once and then hit the B button at the same time. Like it's just being able to do multiple combinations of buttons at once really gave you an edge once you got the hang of it. So it's
a nice thing.
It was. Again, I'm way past my prime. I suck at shooters now, but this is what my glory days, and again, it helped me a lot.
I remember I was there when you picked that up because we.
Yeah.
Dude, we fucking
like,
played
why
so
not?
much Halo with that. It
Yeah.
was
I was just like,
awesome.
why not get it? It looks weird. And
It looks weird,
out to be
but then it
amazing.
turned out to be the best goddamn controller ever for FPSs. And again, I did some research. I did not see anything that came before it that had those kind of paddle buttons at the bottom there like that. So, and again, coming from Gamester, who made the crappiest arcade joystick, things like that, I super did not expect it. So this was a very, very pleasant surprise. And again, you can get it. This green one's for the Xbox, the OG Xbox. They also had them for the PS2, which was like a blue and gray colored, also very similar, which was really cool.
Good swing it, Tyler.
Now you gotta bring the mic back though. So we're back at the table. All right. So Larry, how about you next?
Well, I'm kind of a sucker for the specialized novelty controllers, and I'm going to throw
You're
this
a
out
novelty.
quick because I don't happen to have the machine I can pull in. My favorite control. is actually the tap and tapper.
Hell yeah!
The
Appropriate for the show.
actual tap. That is just such a blast.
It really, there was a clever controller, actually, a neat design. So, again, those who don't know, Larry loves the game Tapper. It's a great game.
Weird.
It's on every system, but at the arcades, on some machines, besides having the buttons, when you tap the beer, it literally had a beer tap on it. You would pull, you would tap the beer, you would pop back. It was just literally like tapping a beer.
Yeah.
The game was freaking
It was a beautiful
awesome.
machine. That one
Right.
had like the leg or the foot rails.
Yeah,
and stuff,
it was
Yeah,
meant, it was
it
meant
had the
for
brass
taverns,
foot
actually.
rails
It was
and
meant
everything.
for taverns.
It was great. It had this little place for your beer,
Right.
you know.
It really, it was meant to be in bars and so
And
on.
as the machine got older, they mostly just were like burned with cigarettes. but no, it was just such great to tap. So I got a few of them here. Go over them quickly. Probably many of you have seen this. Gun games have been around for a long time. There's a lot of gun games out there, a lot of gun controllers out there. But I think that GunCom really stepped up the game with these, and now this is the second version of it, and it features the controller on the back.
That one is by far the best one.
And so your shooting games then didn't have to be just on a rail. You could actually be like one of the games. The first thing that happens is you start flying down, and you turn around and start shooting things in any direction that you want, because there's all kinds of things to shoot everywhere, and you're controlling that instead of just being on a rail like most of the other games, most of the other shooting games. So I think this is the best gun game.
The reason,
gun.
and again, so there's actually a few of them now. There's up to 4. The first one obviously is the gray one for the PlayStation 1. Really good for its time. That one, again, turned orange. They added the stick on the bottom, and it's nice because you can still control with one hand.
I call it Columbine Orange, actually, because that's when they really turn
The GunCon 3 has it on the side, so if you want to control it, you actually have to use both hands.
Yeah, I don't like
it has
that
that like
one.
little jut. So the 2 I think is like the best out of all of them. Again, it's the most comfortable. You can use it with one hand.
It does have the bottom button for
reloading.
reloading,
Yeah.
so that's pretty fun too.
That was that was cool.
It's obviously an ambidextrous controller, which not a lot of designers think about.
Yeah, for those of us that are wrongly left-handed. Oh, what? No, that was wrong. So another classic.
When we take over the world.
Yeah, no, you probably will. That's probably true. Another classic
Once all the righties are dead.
is the fishing
That's the
controller,
idea.
Specifically the official
that's why we're
Dreamcast controller. This one worked really well. There was some Mad Cat versions of this and a few others, and they didn't work very well. When you got to the Wii, you had this sort of virtual reality or motion detector stuff, and you put them in the piece of plastic, and you kind of get some effect, but it didn't work as well. This controller works perfect. You really get the feel. You get a little bit of force feedback in here, and its sensitivity is enough, but not like too much. It's worth buying a Dreamcast and this controller
And
alone.
bass fishing.
And bass
That's it.
fishing.
Yeah. It's like a bass.
And that's it.
Yeah. None of the other crap.
Just lock it in. It is worth it alone to do that. Now, as a sort of just novelty, straight novelty, there are these
Satan's controller.
Satan controllers.
Satan's dick controller.
This guy here, he also makes a puppet.
metal.
Oh. Everybody was looking at that at MGC.
Yeah,
Like,
they really did. Though.
They were like, what
And
the fuck?
it turns out a couple things I didn't actually know. I just picked it up on clearance or whatever because it looked cool or whatever. And because it's a PS1 controller. So, PS2 had come out, so they were kind of getting rid of these and that.
Probably use it with both, I'm imagining.
You can actually use it with both. But what it's a novelty, but it's actually comfortable too.
Aw.
Really?
Which,
It does not look like a comfortable stick.
Feels like
No,
the
it's
different
actually
console.
pretty comfortable. The other thing is there's a series of these. So, with different sort of styles so you could sort of collect them all if you like. And
Like an evil Pokemon.
Like an evil Pokemon, yeah.
Pokemon's already evil.
And
so.
the last sort of thing I just discovered
evil.
during this podcast, because I've never
It
looked
is
at
about
it.
animal fighting, so.
And those, we earlier talked about the Atari and the other companies that came out with other joysticks. And one of the ones I never had an official Atari joystick. I had the Gemini.
Oh,
Which is
again, 2 buttons.
yeah, it's a
Much better construction.
Gemini.
Same company?
Gemini
Oh wow.
company,
Okay,
yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Apparently, they
Yeah.
were still making joysticks even to 2004.
All right.
So that's kind of impressive.
All right. Wait a minute. Ben? Ben, do you need any help?
He's out. No, he's not in the bathroom anymore.
Oh,
He's gone.
Okay.
Let's see. Push
Did
it
he
out.
leave?
Shove it out. He said he had to
Alright.
leave early.
Oh, all right. Well, he snuck out, so before he
His phone stuff's here, but
no. All right.
You mean
Maybe
my
he's
phone
stopped.
stuff.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do my honorable mention and see if he comes back before I do it. So, I do have a second controller, and we've talked about these on the show a billion times, but I'm going to mention them again.
it's super fucking cool.
Exactly, because there is no controller
Very
like
cool.
a Steel Battalion controller. So,
Do you need a hand? I'm gonna give you a hand.
yeah, give me a hand on this.
I'll
So,
just watch you.
for the game Steel Battalion on the original Xbox, there was a controller.
Swing that mic
Let's swing the mic.
right into Matt's head.
There was a controller called the Steel
how's
Battalion controller. This thing is just a monster. 144 buttons, Travis?
No.
What is it?
Closer to 40-ish.
Okay, 40-ish. It has like
Only off by 100.
yeah, a couple.
I'm really
I was
close.
close. Yeah, you screamed that into the mic again.
Only off by 100.
A bajillion.
So, but it really, it was designed for a specific game, Steel Battalion and Line of Contact, which was the second version of the game. But it was an amazing controller. The experience when you're playing this with that particular game is perfect. Every button functions the way it's supposed to. It gives you the feel of actual cockpit control. The pedals, nice construction on them. You had brake, accelerate, and then you had like a side step one that slid you to the side or stood you back up if you fell down. All the controls are perfect on this. The problem was it was horribly expensive.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
200 at retail.
It was
Yeah,
200
at
original
retail, which was how many years
And
ago?
that included the game?
Yeah, at retail. So,
It's $150 for the controller. That's not too bad.
but the good news is you can still pick them up to this day, and we've actually picked up quite a few. So,
Yeah.
between me and
Only
me and Travis, I think we own 6 now. No, we own
I have
8
3.
now.
Yeah,
we own 8 now.
Yeah, yeah.
So between me and Travis alone, we own 8 of these controllers.
Yeah, 10's the max multiplayer. So
Right, so we're getting close to full bar.
You're trying to like corner the
Also,
market.
as a mech aficionado, the Mech Warrior universe is cooler. And Steel Battalion as a game is better than any Mech Warrior game that's ever been put out. I'm just saying.
But that being said, you can use this.
It's just because
with
it
Mech
works.
Warrior on the PC.
It's designed
Oh yeah,
right.
you
know,
can
it's
totally
not-
Frankenstein,
Right.
which is just
A lot of people have come up with good drivers for this to use this on the PC. So you don't have to just use it with the original Xbox. You can actually use it with the PC, and on the PC it works fairly well. All right, so that was my honorable mention.
GL Plays says that he wishes he still had the controller that came with the Xbox, the hamburger controller.
Oh,
that,
the Duke. I
You know
got
what?
the Duke. The
That
Duke.
was
Yeah.
made for men. Finally, a freaking controller. I've got one.
Until I got that Gamester controller, I used the Duke exclusively. Just because it was so much more comfortable.
It was like a man's controller for crying out loud.
And you could
so many
swing it
are
above
for
your head
tiny
and
hands.
kill another
Yeah.
man with it. If you were gonna rage quit, that breakaway cable was great because then you got full. So literally, you
Frosty
saw that
Dukes.
package I picked up last night. I got 2 Dukes in that.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I was really happy
Nice.
about that.
yeah. The Duke is
You
definitely
can kill
better
a
for
mother
everyone.
everyone.
yeah, you
Yeah, lady fingers.
Oh.
Your Trumpian style hands.
It's been well documented that I have huge fingers and other things as well. Toes. I'm talking about toes, of course.
Okay,
All right,
My
you're up,
penis
Dad.
is
You're up.
tiny.
Matt Neckerline for all of you.
A moment of silence.
Donald
for
Trump.
Matt's
Don't
penis.
forget it.
I just
So-
did. Okay, so mine isn't the fanciest controller of all y'all fandangled buttons and all that, but my USB Super Nintendo controller is
That's
awesome.
pretty great.
King! Because, one, it allows me to play all my Super Nintendo games, and on the PC. And then, the Super Nintendo controller is like the dopest controller.
I think it's a very comfortable controller.
It's a comfortable controller. Aspects of this controller are still in play today. Shoulder buttons. I mean, it only has 2, but like using the rest of your hand, like these can do things.
Well, yeah. So
and
so
the 4-button
DS
layout is totally still in use. It's just like boom. I don't know if it's the first to use a 4-button layout, but like solid.
Shaped like that, maybe.
That particular layout, I think.
This particular layout.
The Nintendo had the
hence known as the dog bone.
No, yeah, that was for the NES. They had the dog bone controller, but again, that only had 2 buttons.
They only 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not have all the greatness.
But it's pretty close to an NES dog bone.
So it's probably one of the first controllers that was actually usable.
It's
before they had the bricks, the
right. It wasn't a brick of
Yeah.
cheese.
And they soften the
munster.
edges.
Yeah, instead of cutting your hand on the edge.
Nice.
They were like, man, you know, this fucking sucks.
Which is
What can we
why
do to
that
fix
Nintendo
that?
controller is my
Circles.
favorite.
You know
Now,
what
to be
they
fair,
did? You know what they did? They were eating a nice wheel of Gouda, and they were like, fuck!
Actually,
got
if you look at it,
now, to
really
be
what
fair,
it is, it's very Japanese.
yeah,
You
that's
have 2
impressive.
balls and
I mean, really.
To be fair on that though, as far
Nuts
as
do
like
feel great.
development of design, the Genesis has started to soften.
The kidney bean.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
more
yeah,
of a
you're right.
croissant.
All right.
No shoulder buttons though.
No shoulder buttons and not 4 buttons. Well,
Yeah,
it could have
3.
6. It had 6. It
Had 3.
later on.
Yeah,
It had
6
3,
later.
but they could go 6 later.
We should
Just out
probably
of frame.
do our drawing.
I suppose we could. All right.
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about this for weeks now. It's time to do the drawing to see who won the pairs of tickets for Wizard World in Chicago.
We're keeping it. Suck it.
Yeah,
Super
you,
exciting.
you all suck. You could have come up with better insults. I'm just going to put it that way.
What, nothing?
No, we got some insults.
We got some insults too, but we're
We should
gonna,
read 'em.
We're gonna do the drawing.
All right, read just the name for God's sake. Don't read the other
Okay,
information.
so what we're going to do?
We need an
we will
insult. At least one insult.
Once we're done picking your names, we will email you telling you you've won to your email address. You will have to send us back your real name and information. The tickets will be a will call at Chicago.
I'm gonna
we'll
take it out
put
with my
all
teeth.
this information into the email we send you. All right.
Great.
Ben, you draw the first one. We're drawing 3 sets of tickets here.
First one is...
Hey!
That's a tampon.
All right, who won? Don't read their email address, just the name.
Lester...
The molest.
Oh man, this guy signed in last minute. It was handwritten.
Oh,
Only handwritten
dude,
ones.
you got lucky.
Escape. Yeah.
I like
Let's
your hand.
escape. First one. Yeah, that's
All right,
pretty good.
all right. Travis, you
Hey,
got the
wait,
next
did he have an
one.
insult?
I
I want
think
to know
it's
what
only
the
fair to take
insult
one from
was.
the end because
Yeah, take one for the end.
Sandra Vaughn.
Sandra Vaughn, you won the
We haven't
Congratulations.
offended all the
All
people
right,
away from our
I'm going to
podcast.
take the last one.
I'm pretty sure we have.
Oh, they took the ends. I'm going for the middle.
That's what
for the
she
middle.
said.
Oh, you did? Well, let's just go on the other end. Okay, we have Esmeralda Rodriguez. All right. You guys have all won a set of weekend passes to Wizard World Chicago Comic Con.
Don't worry, we will send you an email giving you more details on how you get it. The good news is you don't have to wait for a ticket to show up. Though.
Right. These will be will calls at the door.
We do need you to show up at a random warehouse in the middle of the night.
You gotta meet Steve.
Preferably with a big bag of heroin.
And do bring your ID for confirmation.
Yep.
And
All that
and
information will be in the
also, if you
email.
could bring your social security card, maybe a birth certificate.
Your,
just-
check, your,
least
your
first one, son.
Your checking routing number will be good too.
At least
yeah, that'd be
$100
excellent.
cash.
All right.
Any credit cards would be good.
Blood
Oh,
type.
sorry.
All right.
Well, it was the best of controllers. It was the worst of controllers. Oh, I've been waiting all day.
I know you have. I could tell. That was the worst part. I'm thinking, oh, Rob thought about this for a while.
What a kick in the dickens.
Oh, damn.
Am I ready?
No.
Speaking of kicking the dickens, don't forget to visit us at www.guysgamesandbeer.net. Also, you can Chester and molester us. No, you can check us out on Facebook where we give free games away. Yeah, we just gave one away last Friday at www.facebook.com/guysgamesandbeer. On Twitter, it's at guysgamesbeer, and on Twitch, it's www.twitch.tv/guysgamesandbeer, where some of you are watching this live. Catch us next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Ish.
And of course, all you guys on iTunes, big old shout out. And yeah, like we got a lot of people on iTunes. Everybody's using Android. Like we're like 80% Android. So hi, all you Android.
Hi, Android users.
Hello, fellow Android users.
Hello.
Lit up.
Have a good week, everybody.
Fare thee well.
Bye.
I will get the.